welcome to this evening's show, wherever you happen to be in the world. Greetings, 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 and welcome to our Mapping It Out, the behind the screens of Project DEIOS. Today, I have to say, is a very special day. It really is, or at least it was 4 days ago. Now, maybe today's not so special, actually. Nah, you know what, today's not special, actually. I am, of course, talking about the fact that 25th of October was this very, very special day because it was the celebration of the 1 year of launch of Dungeon Fog. It's phenomenal to think that it has been going now for a single year, and it has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and grown, and now we're at DEIOS stage. You know, it's absolutely phenomenal. So that's going to be informing some of the things that we're going to be doing on today's show. We've got so much to go through, though, because so much has happened in October. And of course, November, I am sure, is going to be equally as busy. So in October, we're going to be looking, in tonight's show anyway, at some new staff. We're going to be looking at staff. We're going to get some behind-the-scenes look at some staff, how they got into the position that they got into, what motivated them, and what suggestions they might have for anyone who might want to become a programmer or someone who works in the wonderful, wonderful world of creating amazing pieces of software. We are going to look at SPIEL, that amazing gaming convention that happened in Germany over the weekend. We've got some sneak footage there of what went on. I have to warn you, it's not for the faint heart. I have seen what happened there, and it perhaps should have stayed there. Anyway, and then we've got a development update. What can we expect moving forward? We're going to be looking at Dungeon Fog itself. There was a new update that came out specifically for Halloween. We're going to be looking into that as well. So lots to do, lots to do. Now remember, you can also catch up with the Dungeon Fog crew on Discord. They are standing by ready to chat to you, and chat to us, please. Chat to us. It's a show where we want to engage with you. So let's do that. So let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Joining me, of course, is Till. Till, how are you doing?
Well, I'm exhausted, but I'm happy, and I'm back from Spiel. So hello, everyone.
Thank you. I know. I'm sure you are tired from Spiel, having seen what you did there. It was absolutely. It looks like it was an absolute blast. But I think before I go too far in, let's just do this. How do you feel about this?
Ooh, that's beautiful. That's great. Where did that come from?
Well, I had nothing much to do this afternoon. You know, life of a YouTuber, you just don't do anything, you loll around and that sort of thing. And so yes, I spent a bit of time, and I thought I would play around with the new assets that came out recently, and to make this very happy birthday sort of mappy type of thing using those new assets. So Till, just talk to us quickly, before we talk about Spiel, talk us through what dropped this week. It was this week, wasn't it? It fell out. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, everything dropped around Spiel.
That's right.
So first of all, we have our anniversary. So almost exactly 1 year ago, we launched Dungeon Fog. And to celebrate that, we brought out our Dungeon Fog pack. So we finally have a lot of different varieties of fog and smoke and clouds that you can still claim. It's an achievement pack, so all you need to do is go to the Dungeon Fog website, go to the achievements, and claim your anniversary fog pack there. But as you see by the beautiful map that Guy has made, we also released our monthly asset pack, which centers around cemeteries, graveyards, and all in the mood of November and Halloween upcoming. So you have crypts, you have graves, you have all that stuff. And by the way, just a quick reminder, we are still running our Halloween contest, which means that if you're doing a map and you're tagging it with #Halloween and put it to public, we're going to collect all those in the next week, probably the week after. And there might be some digital badges involved for the winners of the contest.
I should go and put that hashtag in my map.
Quickly.
There you go. So yes, Nick East NL says happy birthday, Dungeon Fog, and Bomber of Tarangrund says happy birthday. Jeremy Thompson says it's my nephew's birthday on that day as well. So yes, I think we're all very happy that it's happened. Did you? No, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Well, let's talk about Spiel. We will talk about Spiel. What does Spiel mean for those of us that don't speak German?
Okay, Spiel means game. And it is the biggest, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is the biggest board game convention in Europe. So Spiel is centered all around board games and has grown to also host a big chunk, like a full hall just for RPG and TTRPG games as well. So you have a hall for kids games, you have a hall for all the different games that are out there. And in Hall 6, now you always find the RPG games. And we have been celebrating our launch last year at Spiel, and we were impressed. I mean, there were almost 180,000 visitors to the convention last year, and they said at least that they have topped that off this year. So, I mean, it is crowded. Like, it is really a big thing. So we have been there, we have set up our booth, and we have been showing our Dungeon Fog progress to everyone who visited us there.
Fantastic. Yeah. 180,000, you say?
Yeah, 180,000. It was the official number from last year.
Yeah. Gen Con in the States gets to 400,000, so I think that's still slightly bigger, but at the same time, for a European convention, that's mega. That's massive. Board gaming, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Does the town of Essen have support for that many visitors? I mean, it must.
It does, and also it converts into a great place to play board games in the evening, because every restaurant, every hotel opens up their lobbies, and you see people sitting around with the newly acquired games and play them so it's really a cool place to be there in October in Essen.
Sounds fantastic. Okay, so you guys shot some photographs and a little bit of video. We've put that together for you guys to have a look at, so you can get a sense of Spiel and the craziness that goes on there. So let's get that going, and then after that we're going to talk a little bit more about Spiel. Here we go. Spiel. Okay, so that was Spiel.
That was Spiel.
It looked like a lot of fun. Wait, this is probably going to be causing issues. That should make my audio sound better. Anyway, sorry, they've done some updates to OBS and it's causing my little brain to overload as to what's active or not. Yeah, so Till, who did some of the people that we saw in that video? There was a white-haired gentleman. Who was that? Who was that fellow?
So first of all, let's start with just to ramble it off from my head. We were so happy that World Anvil, Janet and Dimitris, decided to join us there, which made me extremely proud. And we had a great time. Like, we all met up. We also met Nico and Myri from Orkenspalter and had a great evening together. The white-headed man was Werner Fuchs. He is one of the inventors of the Black Eye, das Schwarze Auge. And I had the opportunity to meet him on the Ulysses event that we went in the evening. So thanks to Myri, because she kind of sneaked us in there. She got last-minute tickets for us. And it was a great pleasure for me to talk to the inventor of one of the most traditional German TTRPG games.
Yeah. And
I also had the opportunity to talk to Chris Birch and oh my God, so many names. Sorry, it's still a little hangover from Spiel.
Yeah, I noticed there were quite a lot of celebratory cocktails and drinks and things.
Yes, there were.
Looks great. Someone's Bomber says, "Wow, your hair grew really fast over those days." Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Till and Silvermoon on YouTube says that I think Till needs to grow out his hair like Bob Ross for the 3rd year anniversary. Yeah, I agree. Actually, start it growing. What maps would Bob Ross make?
Happy maps, obviously.
Happy
little maps. I mean, what a question.
There we are. Yeah.
By the way, Nick, I said I'd do it, and I did it.
There we go. Nick, I assume Nick East NL. Is that Netherlands, maybe? Now I regret not going. Absolutely. I think it's going to be awesome. Next year, I think, is going to be a lot of fun as well. I hopefully will be there next year. I'm planning on it. I'm hoping on it. Let's see. Who knows? So, yeah, okay. Happy Little Forests, says Abasai Melktho. Absolutely. Pac Klee says, it was great fun to meet and talk with the Dungeon Fog team in person. What a cool crew. Absolutely it was. It looks like it was an absolute blast by the looks of things. So, Till, why did you guys go?
Why did we go in the first place?
Yeah, why did you go to Spiel this year?
Because it is a great opportunity to meet the community. It is, I think, it is for a company that is growing. It is important to show that we still exist, that we are growing, that we're improving. So it's a little bit of see and be seen situation where you just want to show all the progress you made. But also it's a great opportunity to network, to meet new people. Like, we've met Patrick from Clockwork Publishers, and we've met System Matters and Ulysses. We had the opportunity to talk to Ulysses. So I think it's the one place, at least for Europe, where you really find the opportunity to chat and network with all the big publishers and all the big new titles that are out there. And the community, obviously.
We saw you behind the scenes. You were on a very professional-looking television set with red brick behind you. What was that?
The Spiel had, I think it was the first time this year, they had a live stream, 24/7, almost 24/7 Twitch live stream.
Wow.
With several different blocks where they introduced new games and introduced new people. And Orkenspalter invited us to be there as their guest on Sunday. So that was a new experience to me, and it was definitely a great one. So I'm looking forward to be there next year and hopefully be again on that beautiful set, like a movie star.
It was lovely, wasn't it? And complete sidetrack from the script. Did you actually get to play any games while at Spiel?
No, no, I didn't. Andy had the opportunity to test some games. I think Thomas played a game, but I was running around like a madman and from one meeting to the next one.
Absolutely. It does happen that way. And I think that's the important thing. What was the response like to DEIOS? Because this was the first time that DEIOS was really being sort of showcased.
It was great. It also was great, and I'm not trying to talk too much about it yet because I think we are going to cover it. But it was great to tell people and get the reaction face to face of what's happening now, what's coming up next. It kind of strengthened the experience that we already had. That we know that people are in the need of battle maps, but they are even more in the need of city maps and region maps and world maps and tools that could bring all those together. So we had a lot of discussions. We had a lot of feedback. I think we've brought at least 2 new ideas to the table where we say, okay, let's try that. That sounds interesting.
Always exciting to hear that. Exciting to hear that. Was it the full team that went from Dungeon Fog?
It was the full old team that went, because as of next week, our full team is a lot bigger. But it was Andy, Thomas, Herbert, and me who went there. And next year we will see if we bring more people, if we have a bigger booth, possibly. We will see. We don't know this yet.
Fantastic. What other conventions can we expect to see DEIOS and Dungeon Fog at? Is anything left this year?
Yes. So we are going to be at the Dragon Meet in London. World Anvil is kind of returning the favor. We brought them to the Spiel, and they are bringing us to the Dragon Meet. So we will be there at the World Anvil booth. I will be there. It hasn't been decided. It hasn't been finally decided yet if we are going just as visitors to the Vienna Comic Con or if we might get a last-minute booth there. I will definitely be there at the Vienna Comic Con. It's just a question if I'm just there with my family and going from booth to booth to say hi, or if we have a booth there set up. And next year we want to try UK Expo. And who knows? I mean, I already know that I'm going to Gen Con as a visitor, and then Spiel again.
Absolutely. Absolutely lovely. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. If people see you wandering around at a convention as a visitor, do you mind if they come up and ask you questions about Dungeon Fog or DEIOS?
No, and honestly, I didn't expect it happening, but it happened once, and it made me so proud that I was just strolling through an alley, and it was like, Till! And I was like, huh, what, who? And someone recognized me, and I was like, oh, that happened now.
You're a celebrity. You have to wear dark glasses and sort of sneak
Not
around.
sure if that counts as a celebrity if one person recognizes you, but baby steps, we're getting there.
That's it. Lovely. Okay, well, guys, this show is for you guys to ask questions, to engage. We've got Till here. He will be able to answer most questions that you throw at him. So if you do have questions, please drop them into the chat. I'm watching both YouTube and Twitch. Let's get some questions coming in for Till about Dungeon Fog, about DEIOS, anything along those lines, actually. And the one thing that I desperately want to know, the Bob Ross board game that we saw in the video, whoever took the photograph, I want to know what that board game's about. I have no idea how you'd play it. It's like... I think,
I'm not sure. I think Thomas took the picture. I have to ask him. Yeah,
I saw that and I'm like, it's either going to be the most amazing Zen-like board game that you ever play, or I don't know, someone's coming out with covered in paint. We're going to figure it out. Anyway, we're going to be taking not a break. We're going to be taking a journey behind the staff complement of Dungeon Fog, and we're going to start with, was he the first employee?
No, actually, Andy was the one who joined last.
Okay, of the 4. of the original
Of the four,
of the
yes.
Musketeers. We're going to meet D'Artagnan.
Yes, so Herbert, Thomas, and I were the ones who, as part of the agency that I ran before Dungeon Fog,
I see.
we did the prototyping and we started with the whole idea. And once we had the funding through Kickstarter, we decided we need professional help if we want to make Dungeon Fog the way it is today. And Andy was one of my in one of my game groups, and he was very interested in things, and he was always asking questions. So I approached him and I said, well, why don't you join us? And that's how he found his way into the project, first as a freelancer. And by the start of this year, we offered him a partnership because he did such a great job and he was so helpful with everything that we said, well, you should be part of the full founders team. So as of today, he counts as a founder, but he joined last.
There we go. Well, of the four, we're going to meet Andy. The guy spent a day wandering around Vienna. I'm jealous. Here's Andy.
I'm Andreas Monitzer, and I'm programming the editor and everything that surrounds the editor. I'm actually from Vienna, just like Dungeon Fog itself. I was born here and never moved. So Vienna is one of the nicest cities on earth. Always tops the rankings, and one of the main things I like about Vienna is the public transport system. So I don't own a car, and that's really nice. I was a player at Till's monthly Dungeons and Dragons game, and one day I showed him a prototype of an iPad app I've been working on, and he told me, yeah, I've been working on something similar and we are launching a Kickstarter soon. And so while the Kickstarter was running, I asked him whether he wouldn't want me to join programming, and so that's how I got in there. Well, it's been very exciting so far. It's a big technical challenge, especially because of the desktop application, which has to work with the same code as the web application. I've been working on this for a few months now, and I think I've got some idea about it, but we have to see whether that idea really works in practice. We do have to do everything from scratch, but the question is how. And that's also part of the challenge in programming, that you have to predict the future when you can't. Another one is drawing 2D images is a thing that's not very well explored, because everybody does 3D graphics for games and in shooters and so on. But when you're drawing curved lines and so on the graphics card, that's very different than what most people are used to. So that's a exciting challenge, and also breaks new ground in some areas, because we have a lot of rectangles that are overlaid over each other, which is not that uncommon in 2D graphics like windows and icons and so on, but not that common for web applications. So this is my largest project so far. I'm working not as a small part of the project, but as a lead in the project, and I'm very looking forward to this. Yeah, right now we're a very distributed team, so I'm working at home, others are working here in the office. So it's everybody has their own timing of working, so some work in the night, some work during the day. This will change a lot now. I'm looking forward to experiencing how this will turn out with a lot of more people working on this project. That's very exciting for me as well. One of the major things I've seen with newcomers is that they expect professional programmers to work very differently than it really is, because professional programmers also Google a lot of things, ask around, ask in forums and so on. Newcomers often think that experienced programmers know everything at once, and so are disenfranchised when they can't do that even after months of work. So that's one major thing, is asking questions is very important. Another thing is listening to other people, like I already mentioned. So if you have a question, don't struggle around for months. Better ask someone and have an answer within minutes. And also listen to, when you already working in this field, you have to listen to other people, like artists and your project manager, of course, because they know some things you cannot know simply. I'm looking forward to talking to you on Discord, especially. So I'm very focused on community as well. So if you have any questions, I'm always open to answer when I'm awake in the computer. And I'm very excited for this project.
There you go. That's Andy. What a great guy. Started when he was young, got involved, D&D player. I mean, what's not to like? What's not to like? I think now you have a face. Next time you see Andy online, you now know who is Andy and how he got involved and everything that goes along with that. Let's see. Till is mute. Yes, of course he's mute. Because I have to mute and unmute. I'm so sorry. He's giving this heartfelt, Andy, you're fired and it's all over now and thank you. No, that's definitely not what he's saying. He's saying the exact opposite.
Yeah, I was saying that if you're looking for Andy in Discord, check out for Unlumo. That's his tag there. And we're so happy to have him on board. He's the one who always answers the technical questions in help support and tries to help you if you have any problems. And also, without him, Dungeon Fork would be only half as good. So thank you very much, Andy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andy, for putting up with me going, it's broken, I broke it, fix it. He's like, I don't know why. It's just broken. That's lovely. So that is Andy. We're going to be going through the rest of the team as we move through the next couple of months, which I think is super exciting. So, yeah, just to kind of see how everyone got into it was awesome. And Vienna looks great. So the office is everyone's sort of collating now. Everyone's getting together in the office. Is that what's the plan?
Yes, that's the plan. So there's still, Andy is someone who likes to work at night. So he will be there for regular meetings and eventually probably a day where everyone can align with him. But the rest of the staff, if they are in Vienna, because Jonas, who's joining us, is at the moment moving from Graz to Vienna to join us here in the office. Bodhi is actually just right now in the office. He's a guest today. He's going to start next week with all the others, but he came to visit us today. And Jan is from Bratislava, so he's just joining us for a workshop, but then he will be working from at home from Bratislava.
There we go. All right, we've got some questions that have come through, and of course I've just lost them. I saw them briefly, and then they went away. Because I muted you by mistake, and that was terrible. What's up for Xmas? No, that's too far away. We'll come to that one in October. In November, I should say. In November. So, a bomber of Tannengrund says, how will collaboration in DEIOS work?
That's a broad question to answer. So if you're thinking about collaborating on a map, our goal would be that 2 people or 3 people can synchronously work on a map. Now, we don't know if that works out. We haven't tested it yet. So the fallback would be that you You can share a map and everyone can contribute to the map, and you always get a notification if someone has changed something on the map and if you would like to pick up those changes. So we need to find a way to synchronize the progress of the map. But the ideal would be that you can really, like if you're doing Google Docs, that you can collaborate on the same document at the same time.
I like that idea. And I think it could become a bit of a tug of war, actually, in terms of I want the chair over there, or actually I want the chair over there. So let's see. I think that's going to be fun. Pandaria says, will we be able to import images into Project DEIOS of our old maps to use as a guideline similar to how we can put reference images into Dungeon Fog?
Yes, and that's a good question to answer, one I saw in the chat earlier. So when you import, as of Dungeon Fog right now, when you import a map, it is just blueprint. So you have the map in the top layer, and you can see it with the transparency. So you can use it as a reference to draw your dungeons. But it is an export. That means that the blueprint that you have imported is just for you as a reference, but you can't export the map. The reason behind that is simple IP protection. We can't allow you to take maps that some other map artist has created and share that with the others. And that is exactly what we are going to change. We're not going to change something about the IP protection, but what we are going to do is that we allow you to export and download them for yourself, but we're not going to allow you to share them with others. So we're going to remove assets where you can't claim the IP property for those assets. And I've seen in the Discord chat the question that says, what about assets that I create and upload? Will they be automatically shared with others? So yes, if you're sharing a map in our public library on Dungeon Fog, the assets that are on the map will also be shared with the others. So make sure that you want to do that. For DEIOS, we're going to improve a little bit on that. We're going to ask you. So there's going to be on the share, there's going to be a question that says, you have custom uploads. Do you want to have them shared, or should we remove them before you share the map?
There you go. All right. I had a question, since we're doing questions quickly before we kind of come back to what we wanted to talk about. I've started to play around with the asset manager in terms of making my own libraries. And I have to say it's been a lot of fun, because I thought I had a pretty good memory of all of the assets that are in Dungeon Fog, because I use it every week, and I go, oh, I need a plant. Okay, Victorian's got this one, and they got this one, and they got that one. But once I started to actually build my own asset libraries, I was like, right, I have an asset library that's just called foliage, for example. So I know when I want to start doing outdoor stuff, I go to the foliage, and it's got all the trees and all the plants and all the shrubbery and everything that's in there. Which reminds me, I have something to add to the props request list. But anyway, that's something that's something else. So I've been doing that, and I want to know, is there a recommended sort of maximum size to those asset libraries? Because I've just been dumping everything that is foliage in there.
From experience, so technically, no, there is no limitation to that. You can add as many as you like. I also created my own collection. We're calling them collections, just with everything tree related in there. And it is great, but I realized that with this new random placement tool that we have, it's not working out perfectly, because I have a tree lump and I have all the different tree related things in there. So I started to create different smaller collections where I know those trees perfectly work out as a random place trees. Also, I'm very much looking forward to working with Boti on the way that we organize our assets, because now that you can create those collections, our old organization system, the way we have categorized our assets, needs to be reworked, and we know that, so that is something that we're going to be looking at next year.
Okay. Yeah, I must admit that I really am enjoying that asset manager, and it's almost it's quite therapeutic. You just sit there and you go, okay, we're going to do chairs, or we're going to do tables, or
Did you just a question? Did you did you duplicate chairs and recolor them a little bit, or did you automatically already add drop shadow to the chairs? Because that is one of the most useful things for me, because in right now when you place a prop and you start working with dynamic lighting, you still have to select each and every chair and activate drop shadow. So in the asset library, you can preset that and duplicate the chair, recolor it a little bit so you have different colored chairs, just slightly different. Did you do that? Have you played around with that?
I actually didn't. I didn't even know that was something that I could do in the asset manager. I seem to recall you telling me that a while ago, and I've forgotten it. So I definitely will go back and do that. I really, really will, because
it's a big help.
It is. It really is.
Also, I think no one has done it yet, except for me, I think, with the latest... no, I haven't shared the map yet with the latest release of the prop pack, monthly prop pack. But you could, like, each and every one in the community could create their own asset packs, like their collections. And if they put them on a sprite sheet and share the map, everyone can take that and copy the collection out of it. So I think it's a great tool to start for the community to start sharing your asset collections.
That's interesting. That's super cool. Okay, I think we need, or maybe we should do like a tutorial next month on how to do this. So yeah, because that's I like tutorials. I like being shown how to do things. Pandaria says, thank you for answering. As long as I can have the option to see my hand-drawn world map with transparency to help rebuild in the program, I'm good to go. Absolutely. Bomber then says, speaking of sound, will it be possible to integrate sounds which play on demand when gaming?
So the whole sound thing is well, it's interesting for the moment, because as of Spiel we had a great chat with Sirenscape. We already chatted last year, but they have moved forward so much more. They have so many improvements, and they Steve approached me and said, well, what about integration? What about doing something with Sirenscape? And I said, yeah, we would be very interested in doing that. But with the DEIOS development coming up, we had to park our own internal soundscape system. We had to push it back a little bit. So with the beginning of next year, I'm going to sit down with Sirenscape when they have finished their API documentation, and I will chat with them about bringing Sirenscape into Dungeon Fog, and that then would be a great time to again look at our own soundscape system that is still in the making.
Fantastic. I mean, I've looked at Sirenscape myself, and yeah, I do think they need an asset manager. So maybe just drop that in their ear as well. AWM Perry says, will those custom assets be shared only within that map, or will someone be able to use them in other maps?
So no, that was already a limitation with Dungeon Fog, is when you share the map and someone clones it, those assets stay on the map. So you don't get them into your own asset manager. You just have them available on the map. But still, it is still dangerous for IP infringements. So we really need to find a way and make sure that the intellectual property of other artists stays protected. If you upload them and use them for your own, you most likely will have bought it. But sharing the map means that someone else could use it who hasn't paid for it. So we are very determined to make sure that this is not an option.
And taking that one step further, or taking that in a different direction as well, you were saying that if we put our asset collection, so our collection onto a map, and then we share that, people will be able to get the asset collection. They'll be able to extract that from that shared map, and then it will pop up as one of their collections. Is that how that would work?
Yes. So first of all, that only applies to Dungeon Fog assets. So
Yes.
if when you're sharing a collection, I think it removes all custom uploads, because again, we just need to make sure that we don't infringe here intellectual property. But what you can do is, when you open a map that you have cloned and you open the asset manager, on the top right you find a button that says Create Collection from Map. And then everything on the map, with all the light settings, all the color settings, all the scale settings, everything that you've put there will automatically be transformed into a collection.
Aha, lovely. Jose Chitty is with me in terms of, yes, +1 for the tutorial. I do like the sounds of that. So there we are. Right, I think that's it for questions at the moment in terms of what I'm seeing. So there we go. At the moment, there aren't any other questions that I'm seeing coming through. So let's go back to the script, what we had planned to talk about. What is happening programming wise as far as Project DEIOS is concerned at the moment? Where are we now?
Okay. So we've just returned from SPIEL, and next week, like next Monday the 4th, we are going to have our big kickoff workshop with the developers. So Andy is now at the moment desperately trying to catch up after SPIEL and finishing the backend development, like the foundations of our Chromium embedded framework and all the stuff that we need to build on top of that. And he has help from Holden, who's from the United States, and he is a very, very experienced Rust developer. And they too are currently setting up everything to be ready when our workshop is over. And I'm always saying the real programming, and then Andy smacks me because he's doing the real programming already. But in my terms, it means then we're talking about rendering and tools and all that stuff. That's going to start on November the 11th. We've made good progress so far. Everything looks good, and I really can't wait to kick off the real programming.
Yeah. Are we on track?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are. And as I just said, next week, everyone, like the full team joins. We've invited them for 1 week workshop where everyone sits at the office and we're doing a little bit team building. We're having a map making workshop. We're having 2 days of programming marathon, hackathon with Andy and the programmers. Bodhi and I are going to have a user interface workshop of 2 days. Thomas and Herbert are having a big presentation about all the integrations and features. And we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. So that is going to be a very exciting week. I can't wait to start it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be brilliant. It sounds fantastic. It sounds really, really good. So once you finish playing Dungeons and Dragons and realizing that you've only actually spoken about the entire thing for an hour, when can we see something?
Now, I would say, that is something that I will have to discuss with Bodhi, but I think in our next stream, we will be ready to show the first mock-ups, the first screens of the new interfaces, probably of the new tools. And maybe, I don't know, that is going to be decided in the workshop. Maybe there are already some pre-alpha, very, very rough prototypes that we can throw a look at.
I do like that. And when is Alpha supposed to come out? Tomorrow.
So Alpha is supposed to come out. We are aiming for February next year, but hard to tell yet.
Yes.
I would say with an error margin of a month, it would be somewhere late March is absolutely realistic.
Okay, I cannot wait for next month then, says Nick East NL. Absolutely. February, Abasai Malktho gives you 4 hearts for that, Till. Everyone cannot wait. Abasai Malktho says, confirmed, DEIOS almost finished. I like that. So yeah, wow. Okay, so there's some other bits and pieces in here. Then Reaper's Movie says +1 for video live stream of the D&D game.
Yeah. Possibly not that one, because I think I don't want to put. They're all new to the office, so they're like they I think they're excited. They might be a little scared. Everything is new to them. Me coming up with a camera saying, "Oh, by the way, 500 people are watching you now," might be a little bit harsh for the start. But yeah, we have discussed that. So we've been talking about doing a live stream, and I think, Guy, we can say that there is going to be a charity live stream with
That's
you
right.
and Anvil and me. So live streams are a thing, game live streams, and we might even do a little office live stream game for you eventually.
There we go. There we go. No pain, no gain, says Reaper's Movie. It's a good way to test. Austin Peterson says stuff which I know of because I've hung around people who are much smarter than I am. It doesn't mean much to me, but maybe it will to you. .NET, ? Python DSL, ? APIs, ?
Oh wow, that's a lot of question marks there. So it is going to be developed. The core renderer is going to be developed in Rust. If that answers your question, then good. If not, I think Anlumu is in the chat, and he might give you a proper answer to whatever you're trying to throw here.
I think we should get him onto the show to discuss that. I know when we were doing his behind the scenes stuff, he was talking about the difficulties of what was he saying? Rectangles on rectangles on rectangles, and spline-based graphics rather than 3D stuff. So if you guys want more in-depth information, of course, let us know, and we'll bring them on board to talk more about that. So
yeah, by the way, and sorry to interrupt you there, I had a quick chat with Andy on Spiel about the fact that he offered to do live stream coding. So if you would like to see that and interact with Andy while he is programming, so if that is something that interests you, let us know here, let us know on Discord, because he was up to do that. He said he would be willing to do that. So if you want Andy, if you want to watch him code stuff and interact with him, let us know and we can make that happen.
Lovely. I think that would be great for anyone who sort of really wants to. Nick East NL already says yes to live coding. There we go. So there, yes, absolutely. Plus 999 to live coding. So I think that's kind of that gets guaranteed. We'll have to figure out how to get Andy to jump on and do something along those lines. So what can we expect for Dungeon Fog in terms of November?
Okay. So for Dungeon Fog, what we have is first of all, now that we're back from Spiel, we will hand out badges to everyone who we have a 1-year anniversary badge that we're going to apply to all the accounts that have existed on the 25th. We also had the badges for the people who visited us at Spiel. I think they already have it. It is Mapvember coming up, which means that we are in the preparation for a contest that we are running in November and possibly until the end of the year, that we are calling the Hall of Fame contest. That means that every map that is currently on the public library can be voted on, and the winners will be moved, like the best maps that we have in the system will be moved into the Hall of Fame. And we're going to repeat that periodically so that we are going to grow our Hall of Fame library. So if you want to participate in that, post the best maps that you have, make them public, and we will announce once the contest has started. So then you all can vote on the 5, like you personally have 5 trophies that you can give to each and every map, and the ones with the most trophies will be awarded with the beautiful badge and who knows what else.
I like that. I like that. Now I have to convince people to vote for my map. It'll be fair, I'm sure. I think that's great. I think that's really, really, really cool. I'm looking at the questions. We've kind of bounced around a little bit tonight. Not that I think that's been too much of a problem. We spoke about Hall of Fame. Tutorial videos. In the last show, there was a request for more tutorial videos. Has there been any progress on that?
No. The reason behind that is no. Well,
we had lots of discussions about it.
We had you and I had a lot of discussions about that because we are absolutely aware of the fact that we need a better documentation and we need tutorial videos. Now the big problem is that with the interface changes coming up through DEIOS, with everything being reworked now, it is, I must say, I'm a little hesitant putting a lot of work into tutorial videos just to change them a few months later. I know that we can't avoid it, that it simply has to happen. But we are to figure out how to make it worthwhile for you, Guy, if you want to help us with the tutorial videos, and for us and for the community. So that is at the moment still, let's call it in a concept phase.
Absolutely, and it does make sense. I mean, there's no point in doing a video and then suddenly the UI changes and you go, well, and it's so UI based anyway in terms of this is your option and that's your option. So there you go. So some feedback on that, and I think it's good to honestly just say, well, no, it's not going to happen now. It might happen later. So there we are. 3 minutes to go before we're done. Can you believe an hour's gone past? I can't. I really, really cannot. I thoroughly enjoy these things. We've got a question here. Stefan Pochenpool says, why was the anniversary achievement only up for 4 days and only in the English version of Dungeon Fog?
That is a very good question.
What machen Sie, Till? Why?
Possibly because we completely forgot to activate it in the German version due to the fact that we were desperately trying to get everything done for Spiel. I apologize. That wasn't intended to be that way. And it was up only 4 days because around Spiel are the 4 days where we celebrate our anniversary. But it should have been available for English and German users. Sorry.
There we are. It happens, and Spiel was happening as well. So there was lots going on. There really was lots going on. Will there be a way for people to get some of those things later on?
Yes. Yes, definitely. So we are already working on our marketplace tools. And I'm not saying that you will have to buy them. I'm just saying that we are now currently in the progress of organizing our internal assets system in a way that we can create asset packs out of that, as well as anniversary packs and stuff like that. Once we are done with that, there will be a marketplace with all the different asset packs in there, and I'm pretty sure that we will do the anniversary packs, the achievement packs will be free packs to grab there.
I like that. Are the DEIOS Kickstarter badges available yet? Says Abasai Milktho.
So they are done. I have already finished all of them. The problem is that we decided that we want to have them applied at the moment that the alpha starts, because it doesn't make sense to apply them now to the Dungeon Fog accounts when the Dungeon Fog accounts haven't been fully assigned to the DEIOS accounts yet. Like, we know that there are DEIOS backers and that there are Dungeon Fog users, and some of them overlap, some of them don't. So once we have our database set up for the DEIOS project, then we can also assign all the badges. So they are there. I can show you a screenshot in Discord if you like. They are beautiful. I like them very much. But it might take a little while until you have them and can claim that in your own profile.
There you go, fantastic. Bomber has asked a question about a networking tool for the for RPG characters and the like. I think that's something we can unpack next month as we start to look into those kinds of spaces. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, hit that like button to let us know that you appreciate or enjoy these shows. It's a good way for us to measure that. If you do want to see more of them, leave comments down below. That's the only way that we know how to move forward in terms of sharing information with you. Share your thoughts with us. Till, thank you for being here this evening and for sharing all of that information. And yes, I will say thank you for being on the show. I will, I'm going to
As
finish
always,
off.
Thank you very much, Guy, for having me. Thank you very much for moderating the show. Guys, thank you all so much for being in the stream, for asking the questions. I'm very much looking forward to tell you in our next stream about the workshop, show you some pictures, and possibly the first bits and pieces of the interface.
Super exciting. From both of us to all of you, thank you so very much for watching. Until next month and another Mapping It Out, we'll say good night.
Bye.